Welcome to a daily dose of good news on Friday, July the 24th. It's good to be with you. In addition to daily good news, it's also opening day for the Cleveland Indians. Although I have to tell you, as much as I've missed sports the last 4 months, still seems pretty weird, not only without fans in the stands, but with so much else going on in the world. It's hard to imagine focusing on something else. Maybe it'll be helpful. But we'll see. That's the way things are going these days. So for our good news today, we'll be reading from the Psalms, number 119, verses 129 to 136. Your decrees are wonderful. Therefore, my soul keeps them. The unfolding of your words gives light. It imparts understanding to the simple. With open mouth, I pant because I long for your commandments. Turn to me and be gracious to me, as is your custom toward those who love your name. Keep my steps steady according to your promise, and never let iniquity have dominion over me. Redeem me from human opposition, that I may keep your precepts. Make your face shine upon your servant, and teach me your statutes. My eyes shed streams of tears, because your law is not kept. Here ends the reading. Well, in the manner of Sesame Street, from my days as a child, today's daily dose of good news is brought to you by the letter P. Now, depending on your age, you'd likely know how those letter scenes would go. On one occasion, there'd be the blue-colored cookie monster who would appear on the screen and announce today's show is brought to you by the letter C. And pointing to each or raising each item up as he raised it up, C is for carrot, and C is for cake, C is for cabbage, C is for cantaloupe, C is for cucumber, but mostly C is for cookies. And he'd grab a pile of cookies and stuff them in his mouth. Well, today, in the manner of Sesame Street, our daily dose of good news is brought to you by the letter P. And let me tell you how. Psalm 119 is the longest psalm in the Bible, 176 verses. And in the original Hebrew translation, it's written in the old standard Vacation Bible School Arts and Crafts project known as an acrostic. That is, each verse starting with a different successive letter, in this case of the Hebrew alphabet. Only our psalmist turns out to have been one of those overly exuberant and overachieving VBS kids, using each letter to start the first word of 8 verses in a row before moving on to the next letter. So you take 22 different letters in the Hebrew alphabet times 8 verses, and you got it, 176 total verses. And by now you've likely figured out which letter is used for the 8 verses from 128 to 136. Today's daily dose of good news is brought to you by the letter P. And these verses, much like the rest of the Psalm 119, extol the gift of the law. And I do mean gift. At least and specifically as it is understood from a Hebrew point of view. While in seminary, I took part in a diversity exposure exercise by completing an adult catechism class at the Jewish Center there in Bexley. And I have to say it was a wonderfully hospitable and insightful experience. And one of my primary takeaways was the way that the rabbi taught the law of the Ten Commandments as a gift to help us enjoy the fullness of life that God intends for all. A gift to help us please God and stay in right relationship with God and each other. Hence, the psalmist writes, starting with the letter P, in Hebrew anyway, today, your decrees are wonderful. Therefore, my soul keeps them. As Vicar Sarah and I have been able to safe distance connect with folks a little more recently, in recent weeks, a little more closely in recent weeks, a little more regularly, One of the impressions we're hearing is your appreciation for the law, in particular your appreciation for the third commandment. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Knowing most have not been back to in-person worship yet, when I'm visiting that way, I'll try to commend the personal accountability that each person is taking for their own health and making that decision on when the time is right for them. And then also expressing my hope that they're not sensing any undue pressure to do otherwise, because that's certainly not intended. And yet some will indicate that they do feel pressure. Although that pressure is not necessarily from me or Vicar Sarah or counsel or anyone else, other than a pressure from within their souls, if you will. A pressure that comes from loving God's law, God's commandments, as a gift. For decades, in-person Sunday worship has been an opportunity to enjoy that gift. And now you can't, at least not in the same way. And that builds up pressure of sorts. Well, for the sake of magnifying that gift, the gift of Sabbath, as fully as possible, we'll keep working how to make online worship experience as gratifying and connecting as possible, even while we're exploring other ways to stay connected as a community throughout the week. And for your part, whether at church or at home, I'd encourage you, don't forget the gift God gives you in the Sabbath. Remembering that day who made you and your family in the world. Remembering that day who provides all you need in life. And on that day, resting assured that the same God who started life from the very beginning is drawing all life together forever. Amen. A couple of updates for you today. I've learned that Gail Svensson is now at Thurber Village in their healthcare center. Not able to receive any visitors at all. So in addition to praying for her health, be praying for the family as they're needing to be apart over those days. I think I mentioned yesterday that Ken Doolittle was having back surgery on Thursday. Things have progressed to the point where they're going to move that up, and he'll be having that surgery on Tuesday. So please keep him in your prayers on that day. We did make the decision this week, after trying through the month of July, to take a pause for our Wednesday midday service. We had set that service up as a potential overflow, or to take some of the attendance pressure off of Sunday morning. Sunday mornings still have plenty of room, given we have 25 to 35 folks a service. Not that many were choosing to attend on Wednesday, so we're going to wait and review that again, maybe talk about it in the fall, as worship patterns may have changed by that point. So that is one change. I think I mentioned yesterday as well that we'll be having a community check-in moment 10 minutes before each service. So those who are there in person on Sunday at 8:20 and 10:20, we'll take an opportunity to check in with each other and see how everyone's doing, and celebrate the community that God creates among us as we gather to give thanks and praise to his name. That is what I have for you today. Enjoy the rest of the day and your weekend, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.